Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. I'm so happy to be with you tonight. So we have brought you rock and roll, jam music, jazz, a singer-songwriter. We've pretty much touched the blues. We have really brought you almost every genre of music that there is. Tonight, however, we're going to, first of all, we're stretching Grandma, but we're gonna bring to you music that I am absolutely positive you're going to enjoy, and that I am thrilled to be able to have on the show tonight. Tonight we have world-renowned, award-winning Sherry Finzer, who is a world-renowned flautist, and she's going to play for you, and then we're going to talk to her about what she does and why she does it and the beauty of what she does. Help me welcome into your living room, Miss Sherry Finzer.
Thank you. Usually I have my band members with me, but my band is in a box tonight, so
Nice.
thanks for bearing with me with that. That first song I just played was called Côte d'Ivoire, and it was actually named, was given that name by Will Clipman, who is a percussionist on the new album Trialogue. It's called Trialogue. There are three of us. It's myself, my guitarist Darren Mahoney, and percussionist Will Clipman, who you may know from many recordings with our Carlos Nakai. So it's been a lot of fun recording with him. That is the latest album that was released in April of this year. The next song I'm going to play was written by my guitarist Darren Mahoney. It was recorded on the album Transformation, and the name of the song is called Confused. And in that first song, I like to do that one first when I perform because it gives you a taste of all the flutes that I have with me today. Confused uses also just the alto and the bass flute. So the first flute you heard, actually the first flute you heard was the bass flute. But this flute is the concert C flute that you would see in a band or orchestra. And then this one is the alto flute. It's a fourth lower than the C flute. And then the bass flute is made out of a plastic, a composite plastic. It's one octave lower than the concert C flute. And we have flutes that are much lower than that as well, but most people haven't seen those. So this one's going to start out with the alto and switch back and forth with the bass flute. And it's called Confused. Thank you. So when I first started doing New Age music, I was classically trained and decided to move into the New Age genre back in 2009. The first album I recorded was Sanctuary, then I did Sanctuary 2, and then I did Sanctuary 3, Beyond the Dream. So I think my Sanctuary series is done. I feel like I'm morphing into some other genres a little bit. But Sanctuary 3, Beyond the Dream was released in November of 2014. So I'm going to play a song off of that album, and it is the title track, Beyond the Dream. I usually have my own sound crew to handle that for me. That song was called Dark Horse, and it's off the new album Trialogue. The next one is also going to be off that same album. This one is called Mending Fences.
Yes.
Do you want me to do
I'd
another?
love to have you come over and talk.
All right.
While Sherry's coming over, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the neighborhood. We have coming up very quickly, quicker than you can even imagine, Sailfest. Sailfest will be upon us the weekend of the 8th, 9th, and 10th of July, so be prepared for that. The Hive Skate Shop is doing some wonderful things downtown. Check them out and see what's up with them. And there are two shops in town that are now doing piercings, and there's a 2 for Tuesday at the at Skin Deep, and at New London Inc. they're doing a some kind of special introductory thing. So check those out if you're into that kind of thing. You know we need to support our local businesses. It's all about keeping the money in the area. So let's talk to Sherry. Hi.
Hello.
I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a real honor to have a musician of your caliber in the studio with us. We don't get musicians of your caliber pass through town very often, much less have time to stop and share their gift with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your background. You said you started out as a classical flutist. When did you start playing?
I started playing, I believe it was 5th grade in elementary school. And a lot of people will ask me, why did you pick the flute? And I just remember there being a day where we could go try the instruments and look at them, and the flute was really shiny. I think I was drawn to that sparkle of the flute. And it was easy for me to carry, so easy to take on the bus. So I think that's why I chose it. But I fell in love with it immediately, and you could ask my parents. I would always go home from school, do my homework, and then I just go to my room and practice for hours.
Well, that's what it takes to make someone as good as you are.
Thank you.
No other instrument ever crossed your lips. You didn't get the idea to do anything else.
Well, I did take a couple years of piano lessons. I'm intermediate at best at piano. Actually bought a used baby grand piano a couple years ago to try to reteach myself because it's been many years. I tell this story sometimes. In high school, my band director wanted me to play in the jazz band, and I was very reluctant to do so, but he made me play saxophone in the jazz band. I know.
Such a stretch.
1 year. It was 1 year, and then I was done. So
and you didn't really take to the saxophone so much.
I did not like the saxophone, no.
I have friends that love the saxophone, and there are people that are very gifted in that also. So
absolutely.
Where do you find that being a flutist takes you that is different from, say, playing guitar or saxophone? I mean, the places that flute is wanted for music as opposed to where guitars and the norm are.
Well, I think flutes in general fit with healing music and help people, in that aspect. I've dabbled a little bit with Native American flute, which I think is even
Isn't
more
that kind of what is on this is kind of Native American?
You know, a lot of people thought I was playing Native American flute on that album. I'm actually playing those flutes.
Well, it does have a Native American flair to it.
Yeah, because sometimes I will play in that pentatonic scale that the Native American flute has. So
it's wonderful.
Thank you.
I've had all the albums from you from all 3 sanctuaries. Is that right? Sanctuary.
Yeah, there were 3.
All 3 of them, and been able to play them on my radio show on Monday mornings.
Thank you.
And I get quite a response because it's not the norm, and I don't usually play quote new age music, but you keep things different. New age music has a tendency to follow a certain wavelength, and sometimes it gets monotonous to listen to.
Well, sometimes it's very ambient.
Right, and yours tends to change up and get some upbeat things going on, like what you did here.
I try to keep some
that's what we
melody
like.
to it.
That's what we like about that.
Yeah.
So this is your next album,
Yes.
Majestica.
June 17th.
Where can I go with this? Can I go here? This will drop June 17th, which is tomorrow.
This is airing on Saturday.
This will air Saturday, so it will be.
So it'll be released.
this is released. It's beautiful, beautifully photographed picture here. I don't know who did that, but it's absolutely beautiful. And who are some of the players you have playing with you?
So I live in Phoenix, and in Phoenix I do a lot of performances with my guitarist, Darren Mahoney. Will Klipman lives in Tucson, so we do a lot of work together. It's a little bit of a drive for him, but you know, we'll drive down to Tucson, he'll drive up to Phoenix for shows. So that's mostly what I've been doing. Recently, this new album I did with Cass Anawati, and Cass plays bass when the group 2002 is on tour, so he's a member of that group. He was living in Portland. He moved to Scottsdale, Arizona a little over a year ago, so we started doing some work together.
Nice.
And it's just collaborating with other musicians. It's just a blast for me. I really enjoy it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, you also do a lot of traveling, i.e. bringing you here to New England.
Yeah.
What actually brought you to New England?
Well, several things, but my husband had to go to Virginia for work, and I said, well, let me come with you. I'll check out the plant there, and I'll drive up the coast and I'll visit with radio programmers like you. And then I'm going to end up in Rochester, which is where I'm from, where I grew up.
Yeah.
All my family's there. So my husband will fly up and join me on Friday, and we'll be there for Father's Day for our two fathers. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to do things.
Yeah.
When you're writing music, where do you go in your head to write the music that you write? Because it's all so beautiful. And most of the things on both of these albums is music that you've written or collaborated with. Where do you get your muse? Where do you get your inspiration to the music that you write?
I've noticed lately that it's usually some kind of event or something that's happened, or some issue that I'm dealing with. I'm currently working on a song. Darren Mahoney is helping me craft the song. I had a good friend back in Rochester. I was always involved with my boys when they were growing up and all through school. So I was always a member of the Music Boosters and helping with all that. So I had a friend who I worked with through the Music Boosters a lot, and we kept in touch. And her daughter was a friend of my oldest son's, and I follow lots of people on Facebook. So we've kept in touch on Facebook, and her daughter was pregnant and was expecting her second child, and he was born stillborn just a couple of weeks ago.
I can relate to that.
I need to write a song. So I'm in the middle of a new song, you know, to dedicate to them for that.
Right, that's a heavy-hearted song. I'm not sure I want that one.
Well, it's light and it's hopeful. So I want her to have hope to go on, you know.
So you seem to be very family oriented. How does your family feel when you travel? Because you do travel abroad and on a pretty regular basis. How does your family feel when you do that?
Well, my boys are now grown. They're both adults.
And
so
you have grandchildren.
I have one grandchild and another on the way in July. And it took some getting used to for my husband, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, do you really want to go on tour? Aren't you going to miss me? Well, yeah, but
I
have this drive to go do what I feel I'm meant to do.
Right.
So he's adapted to it, and he travels for work too. So it's all worked out fine.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, he's a little worried about me now because I'm on this trip by myself, on this road trip up the coast.
Doesn't he know you're going to run into people like me?
I know. I'll be just fine.
Where are some of the places that you'll be playing coming up after Saturday night? Can people catch you anywhere between now and Rochester?
No, I don't have any performances after
That's
this.
kind of sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We should plan better next time so that we can get you into some performances.
I'd love to talk to you about that because the trio wants to come to the East Coast and do a whole tour.
Nice.
So either this fall or maybe in the spring, depending how quickly we can get it set up. So
absolutely,
I would love to come back with my group and do it as a full ensemble.
The thing is, my crew is all excited to hear that you'll be coming back. What types of venues do you find attract your music, and where do you like to play the most?
That's a good question too, because people will often ask that. Well, where do you play this type of music? I started playing in Phoenix at art walks. So downtown
Nice.
Scottsdale had art walks a lot. So the music fits well there. Like spas, yoga studios. And then we do concerts. I do concerts with Darren and with Will. And you probably know I was on tour with Fiona Joy
love her.
last fall over in Australia. And that was a blast.
Isn't she a riot?
Did you see pictures of us on Facebook?
I didn't see, no, I didn't see those pictures because I have a lot of followers too. And so unless people tag me in pictures, I don't usually get them, which you know how that is. But I've talked with her on the phone and done an interview with her that way.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And I love her music. I adore her. And I can't even imagine being on tour with her being anything but just a total blast, because she's like that.
It was a lot of fun. And she was very kind to learn a couple of my songs from Sanctuary 3. So it was nice to hear them with flute and piano, gave it a whole different color, different feel.
bet.
It was beautiful. It was great.
Are there any plans to do a recording with her maybe?
I know she's got a lot coming down the pipeline right now. She's got a new release that's coming out on vinyl with Blue Coast. Blue Coast. That's the label. And then she's doing something with Will Ackerman and Lawrence
Always.
Budd. Did you hear about this?
Always.
And Jeff Oster. So she's got
I love
another
Jeff.
one in the works.
I love Jeff's stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, I play a lot of his stuff and her stuff, and yeah, those are all people that are in my roster of, because, I mean, of course, Will with his, he's just got an ear for good stuff, you know, and being the Grammy Award winner that he is, he just kind of pulls people in. Now, you've done some award winning on your own, speaking of a segue.
Oh.
We go from award winning Will Ackerman to, what awards have you actually won, and how did that feel to you?
Well, recently, Flute Flight, a collaboration I did with Mark Holland. He's a Native American flutist.
Yeah. I have that album too.
Yeah, we just won an award at the ZMR Awards last month in May in New Orleans, and that was for Best Meditation Relaxation Album.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And that, you know, that was really special to me. It was a great experience because Mark flew me into St. Louis. We had some concepts of what we wanted to do. He rented the studio. We just went in the studio and we just played.
Nice.
And that's what's on the album.
Yeah.
So he brought in some great musicians. Corey Edwards did guitar and piano, and Josh Daly did percussion. And most of the takes are just one take, what we did.
Nice.
Oh, and Patty Pallarito came in and did gongs and singing bowls, and it was great. It was
Nice.
like one day
It's a
in the
great
studio.
album. It's a
Thank you.
really, really good album. Where do you see you going with your music in the future? Do you see more of this kind of music, or do you see you evolving into other things? Do you ever think of heading towards jazz with your flute?
Well, my oldest son is a professional jazz trombonist.
Nice.
In New York.
I played the trombone.
You-
I did. Not anymore.
That's a hard instrument.
It's a very hard instrument. You have to have a really good ear.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So he's
And it's heavy, and it doesn't travel on a bus well.
Oh, he has a hard time going on the airplanes and everything with it. But he's an outstanding musician, and I could never, even attempt to do what he does with his instrument. He's just up there. Yes, I can dabble in jazz a little bit, but for me, it's like I just hear it and I just play, where I think if I really had to learn jazz, I'd have to study the chord structure and all that.
It's a different genre from what you're doing now.
It's a different language, I think.
If there was a musician that you haven't played with yet, that you absolutely would like to play with, that you haven't had the opportunity to play with yet, who would that be and why?
Oh dear, that's a hard question. There are so many artists out there. Somebody asked me this like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I said, Paul Spear. Do you know Paul Spear?
I don't think so.
Electric guitar, but he does ambient new age.
Okay, I do know
music.
the name. I do know the name.
So I had said that on an interview, and I thought, oh gosh, I better I better write to him and tell him I said that in case it comes back around. So
Right.
he's like, well, let's do something together. So
See, most musicians are ready to jump on
Yeah.
it when a musician of your caliber reaches out and says, I'd like to do something with you, or I said I'd like to do something with you on TV. So now that you've done something with him, what's your next?
Well, right now, because I do some promotions for other artists, and I'm working with Jeff Pierce, who does guitar as well and keys, but very ambient. So I think it would be interesting to do something with him someday. But he's recorded with so many other artists. I know he's a busy
It's
guy.
nice.
Yeah.
Now, have you had the opportunity to work with Will Ackerman?
I have not, but Darren has.
Yeah.
Darren actually went about a year ago to record at Will's studio. So
Nice.
he'll probably have a solo album coming out in the next year or so.
You should let Will know you're in the area while you're here, because he's right here up in Vermont.
And Tom Eaton, I've gotten to know from going to the ZMR show.
Yeah.
So, and he's in this area too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. Now, I want to see that piano and flute album come together. So just,
Yeah. Do you know Louis Landon?
I have some of his music, yes.
He lives in Sedona, and we did a concert together. And he recorded it in the hopes of maybe releasing it as an album, but I've not heard anything.
Oh, wow.
I don't know that he's actually listened to it. This was a few months back, but
I like his
there-
stuff.
Yeah, there may be a flute piano album in there with Louis, possibly. I don't
That'd
know.
be great. That'd be great. I'd be all over that. I'd have to open my show with it on a Monday morning. We have to
Yeah.
open the shows on Monday morning quietly. We have to let
Of
people come
course.
awake quietly with that kind of music. Now, this is my question. I don't ask every musician, but most of you I get with this. So the world has kind of imploded, and all that's left is you and 12 children.
Okay.
You have nothing. What are you going to teach them, and how are you going to teach them to carry on the most important thing in the world, which is music? How are you going to teach them that, and what are you going to teach them about music that they need to know to carry on?
Music to me is emotional. So I think I would, gosh, you can make music out of all kinds of different things. It doesn't have to be an actual instrument. You know?
Right.
I mean, there's lots of, percussion that you can do. So I'd probably start teaching them some rhythm, and then, I don't know, create some instruments out of what we could. And,
Nice.
teach them to play from the heart. It's great. I'm classically trained. I learned how to, play Bach and Beethoven and Mozart and all that. But when you learn to just play from your heart, it's totally different.
Do you have a favorite flute concerto?
I would say Concerto in G, the Mozart,
Nice.
because I had to memorize that many, many, many years ago.
Nice. I'd love to hear you play that someday. But we are, as always, this is my least favorite part of the show. We're at the end of the show. I'm wondering, could you take us out with a song?
Sure. How long do I have?
You have like 2 to 3 minutes.
How about if I just improv something?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm really down with that.
All
You
right.
probably want to unhook. There you
Yeah,
go.
I do.
Thank you so much for coming to the studio.
Thank you all for
It's
having me.
awesome. So while she's getting ready to play some improv for us, I want to thank you all for watching Grandma's Attic Music Review. It's always great to be in your living room. Thank you all so much for the support. You can find us now on YouTube, all capital letters, Grandma's Attic Music Review, and you can look up the shows that you've seen in the past or that you missed maybe. So we are there up on YouTube. Check us out. And until next week, God bless and have a really great week. Bye-bye.